Hey everybody! Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving deep into the world of relationships. And let's be honest, sometimes they can be a little confusing. Ever get that feeling like someone might be trying to avoid you? It's not always easy to tell, is it? Well, don't worry, because in this video, we're going to uncover 8 telltale signs that a woman might be trying to, let's just say, create a little distance. Now, I'm not saying these signs are foolproof, but understanding them can definitely help you read the situation a little better. So buckle up because we're about to decode the subtle language of avoidance, and trust me, it's going to be interesting. 1. Less responsive. Alright, let's start with a classic sign of avoidance, a sudden drop in responsiveness. You know that moment when you send a text and eagerly wait for a reply, but instead you get nothing but silence. It's like your message has been sent into a black hole. This can be particularly frustrating if the person used to be quite prompt in their responses. Suddenly, you're left wondering if they even saw your message or if they're just choosing to ignore it. You know, you send a text, and it's crickets. No little typing bubble, no read receipt, just nothing. It's like the digital equivalent of being ghosted. And it doesn't stop there. You call and it goes straight to voicemail. You leave a message hoping for a callback, but that never comes either. It's as if your calls are being deliberately avoided. And it's not just once, it's like a regular occurrence. You start to notice a pattern. Every time you reach out, there's a delay, or worse, no response at all. It's like you're being systematically ignored. Now, I'm not saying she has to be glued to her phone 24/7, but if she used to be pretty quick to respond and now it's radio silence, well, that could be a little red flag waving hello. It's important to consider the context here. Maybe she's genuinely busy, or perhaps something else is going on. It's like, remember that time I tried to teach my dog to fetch and she just sat there staring at me? No matter how many times I threw the ball, she just wouldn't budge. It was like she was in her own world, completely ignoring my efforts. Yeah, that's the same energy we're talking about here. It's that feeling of being ignored despite your best efforts to communicate. It's confusing and a bit disheartening. But hey, maybe she's just really busy, right? We all have those days when we're swamped with work or other commitments. It's entirely possible that she's caught up in something important. Or maybe her phone fell into a bottomless pit. We've all had those moments when our phone seems to disappear into thin air, only to be found hours later in the most unexpected place. Who knows? The point is, pay attention to the change in communication, because it might be trying to tell you something. A sudden drop in responsiveness can be a subtle hint that something's off. It could be a sign of disinterest, distraction, or even a deeper issue. So keep an eye out and trust your instincts. 2. Avoids eye contact. Okay, have you ever noticed how powerful eye contact can be? It's one of those subtle yet incredibly impactful forms of communication that we often take for granted. It's like a direct line to someone's soul. When you lock eyes with someone, it's as if you're sharing a moment of unspoken understanding. Or at least that's what I tell people when I forget their name. But jokes aside, eye contact can convey so much more than words ever could. But seriously, eye contact is a big deal, and when someone is avoiding it, it's usually a pretty clear sign that something's up. It could be discomfort, shyness, or even deceit. Think about it. When you're excited to see someone, you look them in the eye, right? That moment of connection is often marked by a shared gaze. You want to connect with them. Eye contact can show affection, interest, and engagement. It's a way to say, I'm here with you. But when you're trying to avoid someone, it's like their gaze is a force field you have to dodge at all costs. It's almost instinctual to look away when you're uncomfortable or disinterested. So, if you're noticing that she's suddenly become a champion eye roller, looking everywhere but at you, it might be time to have a little chat. Eye rolling can be a sign of frustration or disdain, or maybe invest in a good pair of mirrored sunglasses. Just kidding. But seriously, avoiding eye contact can be a sign that something deeper is going on. Communication is key, people. If you notice someone avoiding eye contact, it might be worth having an open and honest conversation to understand what's really happening. After all, eye contact is just one piece of the complex puzzle of human interaction. 3. Negative body language. They say that body language speaks volumes, and it's true. Our bodies often communicate what our words cannot, revealing our true feelings and intentions without us even realizing it. Sometimes our bodies betray our words, like that time I tried to tell everyone I was a great dancer. My words said one thing, but my awkward moves told a completely different story. My body begged to differ. But I digress. let's talk about more subtle cues, the ones that can really impact our interactions. When it comes to avoidance, body language can be a dead giveaway. Avoiding eye contact, for instance, can signal discomfort or a desire to disengage from the conversation. Is she crossing her arms, like she's building a wall between the two of you? This defensive posture often indicates that someone is feeling threatened or closed off. Is she constantly turning away from you, like she's trying to escape a conversation? This can be a clear sign that she's not comfortable or interested in continuing the interaction. These are all signs that she might be trying to create some distance. Closed body language, such as turning away or stepping back, is a nonverbal cue that someone needs space. It's like she's saying, "Please respect my personal space bubble," which is currently the size of Texas. This exaggerated gesture can be a humorous way to highlight the importance of personal space. And hey, personal space is important, people. It's a fundamental aspect of our social interactions, and respecting it can make a big difference in how comfortable others feel around us. So, if you're picking up on these vibes, it's probably best to give her a little breathing room. Recognizing and respecting these nonverbal cues can lead to more positive and respectful interactions. 4. Cancels plans. Okay, we've all been there, right? You're super excited about a plan, you've got your outfit picked out, you've even practiced your best dance moves in the mirror. And then, bam! Cancellation. It's like a punch to the gut, especially if it happens more than once. Now, I'm not saying that every canceled plan is a sign of avoidance. Sometimes life just gets in the way. But if she's constantly bailing on you, making excuses that seem a little too convenient, it might be time to face the music, or at least find a new dance partner. Just kidding. But seriously, consistent cancellations could be a sign that she's not prioritizing spending time with you, and that's something worth paying attention to. 5. Less engaged. You know, conversations are like a two-way street. Both people need to be present, engaged, and interested. It's like that time I tried to have a conversation with a mime. Let's just say it was a very one-sided affair. But I digress. If you're noticing that she's become less engaged in conversations, it could be a sign that she's trying to create some distance. Maybe she's giving you one-word answers, or constantly checking her phone, or maybe she's perfected the art of the 1,000-yard stare. Whatever it is, it's like she's mentally checked out of the conversation and maybe even the relationship. And that, my friends, is never a good sign. 6. Avoids physical touch. Okay, physical touch is a natural part of many relationships. It's a way of showing affection, connection, and maybe even a little bit of love. But when someone is avoiding physical touch, it can be a sign that something is off. Now, I'm not saying you should go around hugging everyone you meet. Consent is key, people. But if she used to be comfortable with hugs, hand-holding, or even just a friendly touch on the arm, and now she's flinching away like you're about to give her a spider, well, that's a pretty clear sign that something has changed. It's like her personal space bubble has turned into a fortress, and you're not invited inside. 7. Disinterested or distracted. Remember that time I tried to tell a joke on stage and everyone just stared at me blankly? Yeah, it's kind of like that. When someone is disinterested or distracted when you're around, it can feel like you're talking to a brick wall, or a mime, or a brick wall mime. Maybe she's constantly checking her phone, or her eyes are glazing over while you're talking, or maybe she's just not present in the moment. Whatever it is, it's like she's mentally checked out, and that's never a good sign. It's like she's saying, "I'd rather be anywhere but here doing anything but this." And hey, who wants to feel like that? 8. No future plans. Okay, let's talk about the future because that's where all the good stuff happens, right? Vacations, adventures, maybe even a dance off or two. But if she's avoiding talking about future plans with you, it could be a sign that she doesn't see you in her future. Now, I'm not saying you need to plan your wedding after the first date, but if she's constantly dodging conversations about the future, or she's always too busy to make plans, it might be time to have a serious conversation. It's like she's saying, "I'm not sure I want to be on this ride anymore, so I'm not going to buy a ticket." And hey, sometimes it's better to get off the ride than to stay on a roller coaster that's going nowhere. So there you have it, folks. 8 signs that a woman might be avoiding you. Remember, these signs aren't always foolproof, and communication is always key. If you're noticing these signs, don't be afraid to have an open and honest conversation with her. Who knows, maybe there's a simple explanation, or maybe it's time to move on. Either way, it's better to know than to be left wondering. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more relationship advice. And remember, you're all amazing and deserve to be with someone who wants to dance with you both literally and figuratively.